Right, hi everybody. So welcome to the reading for the Scorpio full moon total eclipse, which is going to be on Monday the 16th of May. The GMT timing of that, so you probably need to transpose it into the time where you're at in the world, is at 4:13 in the morning GMT time, so that would be UK timing where I am at the moment. I'm recording this video for probably the fourth or the fifth time. My last attempt was yesterday, and these were actually the cards that came out. So Spirit said to me to just leave the cards as they were, because there was more information coming out even last night. It was almost like having to experience the energies and kind of try to decipher them, because Spirit do tend to talk in codes, but also through the senses, through the internal senses. So what I'm going to attempt to do is just work through the messages that I've received, and wonderfully the sun has just decided to come out, which I'm not complaining about. It's absolutely beautiful. I live very, very close to the coast here in the UK, and it's very windy, kind of temperamental weather. Like it's very, very changeable. Like 1 minute you think it's going to be beautiful, the next minute the wind is howling, which I know can happen on the coastline, but it's very eclipse weather. So just to give you the heads up, this is a total full moon eclipse. So a lunar eclipse is a full moon, a solar eclipse is a new moon. So this one is in the energy of Scorpio. So if you know where Scorpio is in your chart, that is very, very helpful for you. So people with a lot of Scorpio placements so Scorpio placements might be that they'll have planets in the sign of Scorpio, or they might have planets in the 8th house. So the 8th house is the house in astrology ruled by Scorpio, because Scorpio's ruling planet is Pluto, which is all about death and rebirth. This is very much Kali energy. It's empowerment, it's change. So these are the areas that are going to come up collectively around Scorpio. Self-mastery, sex and soulmates. It's also creativity. So Scorpio rules the areas of the sexual organs in the body as well, and the organs of elimination in the body. It's about financial partnerships. It's about avoiding power struggles. Scorpio also rules the areas of secrets, funnily enough, awareness of others' needs and motives. So it has this X-ray vision. It can really see through if somebody has an agenda. It's politics, psychology, charisma. It's probably one of the most transformative signs in the zodiac. So all the signs are powerful in their own right. It's the area that they kind of symbolize is where the area of power lies. Other areas are eliminating old baggage, restoration, forgiveness. It's taking risks to gain power. It's compulsions, obsessions, and it's so interesting because a lot of this has actually already come out in the cards. It's intense interactions, it's living on the edge, it's strength, self-discipline, commitment, depth of character, good versus evil, even though I just don't tend to talk in that kind of language. As I said before, it's sex and soulmates, it's absorption, it's a water sign, it's deeply emotional, so it's about deep emotional connections, it's about mutual validation. Other areas I've got written down here: loans, taxes, debts, grants, wills and inheritances, contracts and business. And funnily enough, the last reading that I think I did, I can't even remember if I've posted it on Facebook on the main page, but there was a message around inheritances and wills and money being discussed, or areas around that section of life coming up for some people. Areas, so like I would say the shadow side of Scorpio is revenge, jealousy, harsh judgments, destructive urges, power struggles, abandonment, suspicion and guilt. And the areas of the body are organs of elimination. It rules PMS, menstruation, sexual diseases, sexual organs in both genders, right? Or whatever gender you call yourself nowadays, because sometimes people don't know what language to use now. And all my readings are always inclusive. When I say divine masculine or divine feminine, I'm talking about energies. I'm not talking about gender, because we hold both energies. Right, okay. So that's the area of Scorpio. So that doesn't mean just because it's the area of Scorpio, that's the area that's going to get activated. That's collectively what's being activated. Now, the first card that came out is we got the solar eclipse, which is all about revolution. And when I got this card, sorry, there might be a bit of sun coming in, but you know what? I'm not going to complain about that. So there might be a bit of a glare. When I saw this card, I was like, well, that would come out if it was a new moon. I would kind of expect this, which I find is a bit freaky, this card, the lunar eclipse card, which is about change. And what Spirit said is this is new information being unearthed. Again, this is a collective general read, so it will mean different things for different people. So I'm going to try and cover this area on this eclipse as much as I can without being so overly definitive that it excludes people. I want you to really tune in with this. Scorpio is a deeply intense, penetrative sign. It really gets in and it unearths. It goes into the recesses where it would frighten other people, whereas the Scorpio energy is not frightened. It just faces some of the most shadow aspects of life. So this is why this total eclipse is going to be really powerful. Now remember, eclipses also activate for the next 6 months. So 2 weeks ago we had the new moon in Taurus, which is the opposite sign to Scorpio, which is an earth sign. So that's activated areas of Taurus, and now we are going through the opposite sign of Scorpio. And full moons are always about release and elimination. And if you imagine, the moon is also a planet that is symbolized by emotions, because it's tied in with the tides and affecting the currents and people's moods and shifts and feelings. The moon is in astrology is also classed as a planet that's ruled by water emotions. Scorpio is a water sign. So can you sense the level of intensity around this full moon? This is not a full moon for the faint-hearted. This weekend is going to be quite intense for some people that are very tuned in. But also with that, and what the message through the cards is, that it's also going to, this is where really beautiful, deep healing can happen. Again, I know it sounds quite dualistic, but it's not to be afraid of that. It's not, these messages are not to bring in fear. They're actually to bring in empowerment, to actually show you that, Scorpio is a sign of strength and commitment, that you've got everything that you need to navigate this energy. So the reason it's new information coming to light is we've got the Mercury in the mind card, and we're also going through Mercury Retrograde at this moment. And I often struggle in the Mercury Retrograde because my words, and trying to get my words out and articulate what's in my head, it's like a jumbled up computer system that's malfunctioned in my head at the moment. However, I also like to see it that my computer, my brain is getting a bit of an upgrade, and actually that it's a real great time to rejig my plans and to reflect. And actually for the last week, us intuitives who work professionally in this area, we often will start to feel the energies way before an activation is happening on a collective level. We're very, very tuned in and we're on the pulse. And for the last week, I've really felt like retreating. It's almost like I kind of know it's the right way to go. So this is definitely going to be a weekend before Monday to retreat and to go within. I'm really surprised actually the Hermit card hasn't come out. But that's absolutely fine, it's not a problem. Now the other two cards, so the 10th house is the world. Now the 10th house in astrology is also known as career, honours, fame. It's what we can be known for, not necessarily our identity, that's more first house, but it's what we can make a successful career out of, or a living. Like, you know, I am a famous actor and I've become famous, like we're seeing playing out in the collective at the moment, these court cases, with, like, say, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard for one, and this is very much tied into this message as well. So the 10th house is also about cycles, because so the 10th house is ruled by Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, which is like it's the entrepreneur, not necessarily the entrepreneur, it's the business person, it's the commerce, it's the person that is, you know, juggling lots of different things, but is fully in control. So Saturn rules cycles of time as well. So actually, if you notice on this card, it's got a nod to the faces of a clock, Roman numericals. And if you think about this is about a cycle closing out. So whatever information is going to be brought to you, and this is through going within, because we've got the 8 of Pentacles here, so it's about learning, it's about earthing, it's about grounding in, and it's a really important message over these next few days and coming weeks, is to really ground yourself, is going to help you to navigate these. It's almost like having a spiritual surfboard to ride the waves of these emotional shifts that we're going through. Now, this is really the most pivotal card that's come out, which is what this message is all about. And this is the Black Moon Lilith mystery card. And this is actually all linked to the shadow aspects of life, our shadow, the parts of ourselves that we hide from even ourselves, because for fear that we'll be judged. But also with this energy of Black Moon Lilith, it's to do with the areas of femininity that are repressed. Now, again, when I say the feminine, it doesn't need to directly correlate with women. However, there is a message around this, because if you think about Scorpio and how Scorpio is very much tied into the energies of sex, sexuality, if we think about women and sex over the ages, and I can honestly say this, being born a woman, is that from a very young age, or I wouldn't even say if it's from a young age, there comes a point in a woman's life where sooner or later she becomes aware of the fact that sexuality it's almost used as a form of currency. Now, I think this is really, it's coming to light now. People are talking about this honestly, but it's like her body is classed as a form of currency. Or if the last 2 years we've talked about how, you know, being heckled and being and it does happen to men as well. There's an element of this again. Men hold the divine feminine blueprint in them too, which is their ability to where they've been mothered, have they had a healthy relationship with their mother, if at all, were they abandoned by their mother. This is a big, now tying this in on the world stage with Johnny Depp, what's really highlighted and what we're being shown in that situation is he has been publicly stated as saying that he married his mother. So Amber Heard, is their relationship is I don't want to say a classic, because I don't really want to be too like pointing fingers. There's no blame here. This is family systems in action. So he had this traumatic upbringing with his mother. She was like this very, very wounded divine feminine character who was very aggressive, very unstable. I think he said that she was abusive, don't quote me on this. And he said he's found himself repeating the pattern, because that's what you do in family systems with these unhealed childhood patternings. So again, bringing things to light, it's an old cycle. I'm sure he wants to get out of it. For me, he comes across as somebody who's been going through quite a bit of therapy. Then you see the person that he's married, which is a very, very histrionic female character. Again, very similar, if not the same traits and characteristics as his mother. And well, why does this happen? It's the child trying to heal the wounds. We try to heal. The soul is always bringing in these physical experiences into our lives in order so that we get the chance to heal them. So we get the chance to come out a victim, and we almost become the conqueror of our own wounds. And this is a typical example of a black moon Lilith. So this is the shadow aspects of life, the areas that, you know, we might feel shame, we might feel guilt, we might feel something very wounded in our area, in our divine feminine aspect. And there's areas around this energy that are being brought to light around this Scorpio full moon eclipse. And remember, this will be going on for 6 months, so the work around this, but also the healing. Remember, Scorpio is the sign, is the energy that is the most deeply transformative. 8th house is the house of death and rebirth. This is what Scorpio represents. So there is a powerful opportunity here to absolutely break through and heal this area of your life where this information is coming to light on such a profound level, like maybe never before. Excuse me. So you mustn't fear what wants to come up and out. So these are the aspects of the Black Moon Lilith card. So this is mystery, is very much like what's hidden from view. Now Scorpio goes in and it unearths. The 8th house is the area where we can transform the deepest shadow aspects of ourselves, and in a way, so we embrace both aspects of who we truly are. So Black Moon Lilith is a dark goddess. She is a ghost to the moon. She symbolises destruction before creation. The name Lilith means screech owl or night hag. Lilith is the ancient goddess of mystery and transformation. Stories of Lilith appeared around 5,000 years ago in the area of Sumeria, where she was said to have been handmaiden to Inanna. So Inanna is known as Venus, the queen of heaven. However, most of us recognise Lilith from the Hebrew myth as the first wife of Adam. Lilith also appears in folklore in medieval Judaism as the rebellious first wife who refused to submit to Adam and, enraged, fled to the Red Sea, an area of mystery and danger. There, Lilith procreated with other spirits, giving birth to demons. Later, Lilith became a succubus, appearing to men at night, sapping their strength and causing wet dreams and impotency. So this is the area of the wounded feminine that emasculates the masculine energy. So this is, I mean, again, I'm going to give you some examples here. I'm not saying this is how it's going to be for you, but this is how it could play out. So this is where mysteries and unexplained occurrences lie in wait. This is about a call to wildness, even subversion. So this is also where Lilith refuses to submit. It's about, it's where we can tend to isolate and focus on feelings of revenge. It's subdued power. So this is not where our power is being actualized. It's where it's being withheld. So this is what's coming to light. Whatever is coming to light for us during this time, it's like it's time to close out this old cycle collectively for the feminine, where she's been repressed, where she's been over-sexualized, where she's actually even maybe, and again, I say she, I say the feminine, the divine feminine has been numbed out, okay? Where she's been overstimulated and it's not authentic, where the masks need to come out. This can also represent rebellion. It's about a feeling of waiting for something to happen, but you don't have the entire information, so the facts are hidden or mysterious. Well, no, not any longer with this. It's going to help close out a cycle. It's new light. So this is, just before we get the new moon, it goes dark. And actually, it's the void period before the new cycle begins. So something needs to come to light before this new beginning. We're closing out a cycle, and it's going to be articulated to us through our thoughts. It's, again, working with the mind, working with our air element is going to be very powerful at this time. So it would be a great opportunity to go within and meditate. And actually, a big message that I've got, which I will talk about in a minute, is linked to that. So the areas around Black Moon Lilith, in brief: arousal, the magic elixir of sex, tantric sex, glamour seduction, the other woman or man, an affair. It's about bitchiness, the feminine force, an invisible force, complicated circumstances, stalking, the colours red and purple, shame, envy and guilt. Other areas are rejection, feelings of being replaced. I would even say abandonment as well here. Yeah, feelings of being slighted or overlooked. Demands of power, control, winning, outsmarting the opposition, creativity, unplanned births, controversial art or creative expression, pausing to rest before the next action, the balancing of karma. This is the Queen of Swords. I would even say this is truth. Swords are always cutting through straight to the point. It's very much about clarification, mental actualization, mystery, revolt, revenge, darkness, erotic obsessions, the witch's wand of power. So you can see where this can be brought forward for good or bad. So this is, and again, this is the message in Scorpio time. Again, another area where we're seeing this play out collectively is the wags fighting in court. Well, you said this. No, I didn't. I mean, it's not even worth. I actually recorded this in the message yesterday. I was talking about a bit about this, and actually Spirit were getting me to talk about politics as well. But I just felt like I just don't really want to bring politics into this reading. Sorry, Spirit. I just feel like I want this to be, because I just could feel my energy draining even talking about it. What we're seeing is all this, it's just all this illusion, this BS that's really coming up. Scorpio doesn't like BS. It's just like, oh, come on, really? Do I have to listen to this again? Are you really going to try and pull the wool over my eyes again? But again, you've got people with too much time and money on their hands in court fighting like two schoolgirls in court because you said this and I said this. And it's all the ego. It's all that, well, I'm right and you're wrong. And I just keep hearing they've just got too much time on their hands. You could be doing, things for charity over that nonsense. And, and I'm worried about my image being tarnished. Well, I think most people that have mentioned it or write about it in the newspapers, not that I read them often, is that their images are already tarnished by even letting it go so far as that you're two grown adults with children, like parent yourselves. Anyway, enough about that. But again, this is this real shadow aspects of the feminine that's really called for healing. It's really called for, it wants to be processed by the mind. It's really, if it's left to fester and it's left to really the ego run amok, you're literally like dealing with this situation, fights, revenge, jealousy, harsh judgment. It's bringing out the worst side of the Scorpio energy. Again, it's abandonment. Why go through a court case? Well, you abandoned me. You didn't give me what you want. You wouldn't let me do this. You wouldn't give me this car. You wouldn't. Again, it's time to now stand up. It's time to grow up. It's time to bring this information to the light and see how these behaviours could actually be possibly restricting and holding back what you want to bring into your life. So the next set of cards that I then pulled are the tarot. So the first that came out, so these are the Black Moon astrology cards by Susan Shepherd, and these are my tarot cards. I think they're by somebody called Chris Gill. I don't know. I can never remember the name because there's no name on the pack. So my apologies. No, Jonathan Gill, Spirit is saying to me, thank you so much. You reminded me. So I'm just going to read out these cards as their meanings are in the tarot, and then I'm going to go through and tie it all in together. So we've got the Two of Wands, which is partnerships. Now again, that can be one's a creation, activity, action. It can pertain to business. But again, some of you are already happily settled in a marriage or relationship, so that might not pertain to you. So it could be around business. It could be about relationship to you. It could be relationship to your own inner divine feminine and where this is playing out for you. We've got the Nine of Wands, which is the card of resilience. Okay. And we've also got the Nine of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment card. So again, this is why I just think it's linked into, there's something that you want to evolve into, grow into, become, heal, transform, manifest. And this whole, whatever is coming up for you that could be deeply uncomfortable actually, because Scorpio doesn't really hold any prisoners, this is why it's coming up to help you to manifest. We've got the Lovers card, which is about choice. It's Gemini, but it's also about love. We also got then the Eight of Pentacles, which is also about learning. It's about studies. It's about a new course of study opening up. It's also about what we have learned so far. So it could be that you are learning, because that spirit will like that card goes underneath there. So it could be something coming into your mental sphere, and you are saying to yourself, look, I want a relationship, okay? I'm ready to meet my soulmate, Scorpio, soulmate. I want to have a deeply intimate relationship with somebody. I want deep love. Because again, it's great, self-love, and I think there's a massive myth in the healing community that you need to be fully healed before you meet the partner of your dreams. But the wish fulfillment card is there next to the Lovers. So this is, and I might actually pull some more cards around this. Yeah, because I've got the love card that's turned up on the Wisdom of Avalon cards as well. And the frog, cleaning house, releasing emotional baggage. They're the top two cards on there. Yeah. So I feel like that for some people there will be a message around that. It could be that you're in a partnership and there may be even something around sexual connection, whether it be around your ability for you to feel in touch with your own physicality sexually, or maybe there's a period where you've just felt there's some healing around a previous relationship or partnership that deeply affected you around your sexuality or around your ability to express yourself. Maybe an ex-partner said something that deeply hurt you, and there's some healing coming around this now. That it's time to let this shit go, basically. So you've got the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about learning. It's also about it can be about a new job. And then we've also got the Ten of Cups. And what I love about this is the Ten of Cups is like, it's just, so we've got the Nine of Cups and we've got the Ten of Cups, and the Ten of Cups is like saying it's joy, it's happiness, it's fulfillment. It's, it's not the Ace of Cups, can be new beginnings in love. It's literally happiness. It's the family coming together. It's just unification on every front. So this is a very strong message around this, and I really, because Spirit were like, the video just wasn't uploading, and then I've had to sort a few things out on my computer today. And then when I got up this morning, I realised that it's just so many layers to this Scorpio full moon total eclipse, because eclipses facilitate deep change. They come in and they bring in sometimes surprises, things that we're not expecting, but are ultimately to move us on the path of what we've asked for with Spirit. Now what came out after this was these cards together. So I'm just going to move these up so you can see them a little bit. Let me move that in together, right? Okay. So we've got here, the Devil came out around the World and the Hangman. So we've got the World card now twice, okay? So we've got the World card twice. So it's a definite closing of a cycle coming up. And this, again, will continue for maybe up to 6 months. Now, the Devil is Capricorn energy. which is so interesting because again we've got the 10th house, which I'm sure is ruled by Capricorn. I'm pretty sure it is. The devil can be, again, can you see the messages keep repeating themselves? The devil in the tarot is about obsessional behavior. It's about addictive behavior, addictive patterns, you know, where we've maybe been in a relationship that isn't going anywhere, but we've got these abandonment wounds where we keep going back because we're in a relationship that isn't actually healthy, it's dysfunctional. And the information that's coming through to us during this period is like, I just can't do this anymore, because it's actually the Hanged Man is about feeling suspended. It's about sometimes being held back, but also the Hanged Man is also about changing your perspective on how you're seeing things. So there's a new perspective coming through, and just Spirit just saying, just embrace it. Remember, we mustn't fear what we get to see, because it's ultimately showing us for our healing and our growth. And the soul came down here. You chose to come on this planet to learn, not to stand still and just stay in a false sense of security where nothing changes. It's only through growth do we actually sometimes experience the joys in life. We've got to get out of the comfort zone. And actually learning, it increases our, not like only our neuroplasticity in our brain, but it builds our confidence when we learn something new about ourselves, about a subject, about something that we're interested in. It keeps the energy moving. It stops the stagnancy. So there's something around this of letting go of addictive behaviours, maybe areas of our lives where we felt chained, or we felt chained to someone or something. This is being moved on. And what's being called from you is to change your perspective on how you see it, because that's going to ultimately help you to release it from your mind. Now, underneath this as well, these cards came out together. So I'm just going to hold these up to the camera. So we've got the Page of Swords, we've got the Four of Swords, and the Seven of Pence. And when these first came out, it's a bit like, well, this is like something different again. So what I was getting around this was that the Page of Swords pages are always about news and information. Again, the swords are about the air element, Mercury, the mind. So can be about communications, but the Four of Swords is about rest and recuperation. It can sometimes mean like visits to hospitals and checkups. And the Seven of Pentacles is about being patient. It's about slow growth and sometimes thinking, God, is this ever going to move on? But I was getting this kind of gossipy, immature energy around this Page of Swords card. Now, this is just what I was sensing with it. You might get something else from the cards yourself, and I really want you to trust that. But it's like moving away from this very immature, like the Page of Swords is a young person. Now, just because somebody's young doesn't mean that they're immature. It just means that they are, they're somebody that is, can be emotionally wanting to have a fight. So if you actually just look at the card there, they've got the sword up. They're kind of like a bit defensive. They're like ready for a bit of a fight. But there's a bit of, when I look at this card, I just feel like they're ready for a fight, but they're not very well equipped. That's just the energy that I get. It's like they'll just, if it's not you, there's somebody else. It's like a gossipy, immature energy. And it's like, the Four of Swords is just saying it's just time to retreat away from that. It's time to retreat around this energy. Again, if we think about what's playing out there in the public eye, is that what's really being highlighted is that you might go in with the best intentions. I want to protect my image. I want to do this. I want to win money. I want to win the court case. I'm me, myself, and I, this kind of energy. Me, I'm hurt, look at me, and whatever. And actually, it's just like, there's just a tiresome energy around this. It's like, oh, for God's sake, seeing it all the time, you've not got better things to do with. It's actually like a draining energy. Like, I need to retreat from this energy. And actually, the guidance that I have been given this weekend is just literally to just retreat from, when you're healing and you're going through a healing shift, you can't necessarily facilitate the shift for other people. So if there are people around you who are quite needing a lot of attention, or situations that are draining your energy that are constantly calling for your attention. Maybe it's time to look at that, and be persistent. This is like the card of persistence. It's like, don't give up. You might feel drained from certain aspects of life or people, and maybe it's time to clear that. Maybe that's what this cycle is asking you, that maybe there's been an addiction to needing to help people. Your self-esteem, which isn't really self-esteem, your need to feel validated and needed, is based around being surrounded by these types of people. But it's just going to, over a period of time, that's just going to keep draining your energy. And it's not allowing to bring in this beautiful energy of like this creative partnership that's available to you, that's resilient, that's a dream come true, whether that's in business, whether it's in studies, whether it's in a new port of call in learning, something that's going to bring you joy. So whatever is happening here and coming to light is bringing you this, but it's calling for you to release this. That's what the message was. And then I pulled the Vision Quest card and I said, what's the overall message? And we got the Six of Earth, which is the breakthrough card. And if you just look at that, the person is just stood towards a sunflower. So this is the sun coming back into your lives. The sun represents vibrancy, health, shining, light, upliftment, happiness. And then I also pulled from the Wisdom of Avalon. I said, what's the message there? And we got protection, the mystery. So again, we've got the mystery card twice. We've got the world card twice. We've got, the happiness cards with the cups, I think, is twice as well. Just think if there's anything else. And I would say the Six of Earth and the solar eclipse is tied in as well. It's the sun energy, it's new beginnings. So you've got protection, mystery, movement and focus. So it's time to draw in. For me, the protection card in this message is about focusing on going within. It's like, it's not the time to be going out and trying to help everybody and everyone right at this time. The energies are calling for you to go within. That's where the healing is needed, is to tend to your own. And the movement and the focus I get is to actually move your physical body. Now, you don't need to go out and go for a run to do that. You can actually meditate and use breath work. That's actually one of the most powerful ways that you can shift energy in your body. Working with whatever is in your spiritual toolbox in order to help you facilitate this energetic shift, because this is what it is. It's a very, very powerful one. There's an opportunity here to really heal something within the feminine. Not only because if we heal within, we heal out there. It has an impact in our lives, so profound. But actually what's really going to help move the energy this weekend is to move your physical body. And that doesn't necessarily mean exercise. Yes, I think getting out in nature will really help. Being one with nature will really help. But what Spirit's saying to me is actually working with the element of air right now, because we're still in Taurus, but Taurus energy is all about the body. It's all about the physicality. It's all about being in touch with the body. And I feel a lot of this healing around the feminine is about getting back into the body. It's about healing these cycles of what the feminine body has represented for eons. Also how the feminine body has been abused, how femininity has been misrepresented. Because if you think about it with the feminine, it was very much like the feminine tried to become the masculine in order to be what society deemed was equality, when actually it's not about that. It's about honouring the feminine for how the feminine naturally is. Because if you think about this, what was I listening to the other day? I was listening to a podcast on nutrition, and the doctor, who's a heart surgeon, is amazing. he was talking about cells in the body, and I don't know if he was saying, was it the mitochondria? Anyway, he was talking about these cells in the body, and he was saying that there's certain aspects of the egg, like the sperm can't provide. So he was saying that some of these cells are actually feminine in the body, and they do all these amazing transformative processes. I can't really remember what it is. I need to go back and re-listen to it. And it was actually two men talking about, and they were like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, who knew how incredible science is? And I just feel that there's this, it's almost like a not positioning, but a new language on how we work with the feminine, how we deal with the feminine. And this is for everybody. This benefits everybody. It benefits every person because it's an energy. So if you think the feminine rules creativity, because it's the feminine that gives birth to the new, the masculine is a part of that process and is definitely required. But actually, we're nothing without the feminine. The feminine is creativity, it's nature, it's constantly birthing. So it's a very, very powerful message, this one. Right, so I'm going to just see with these cards, what does Spirit want to talk to? There's something else with a message around this, because I know it's not all about love, but are there any other messages for anybody? I'm just having a cup of tea here. Sometimes you just need a brew. It's about sustenance is the word I want to use. And I was thinking back to when I was a young girl, and I grew up around what they called, it was really, I mean, it's even the words are really dysfunctional, like heroin chic, you know, the era of Kate Moss. And Kate Moss is a beautiful woman. I mean, I know it's subjective beauty externally, it's what's within, what emanates. And especially with spiritual energy, when you really tune into somebody's goddess energy, it's always coming from within. You can look a certain way, but if you're totally disconnected to your creative energy, your goddess power, you can actually be very, there's just nothing there. There's no essence around it. And I just remember thinking about this, how it's really changed. Like, we're now into this, you know, I see it in the gym where all the girls are working out, and it's great. And I see all these young lads in there. I was in the gym the other day, and there was like nobody over the age of like 20. I was like, oh my God, I feel so old. But, you know, I thought to myself, this is really good, because when I was growing up, we were all on the streets getting up to mischief, especially the young lads where I grew up in Manchester. I mean, it was just, they were terrible, but they never bothered me because they knew me. You know, it was in my neighbourhood where I grew up. But I mean, anybody visiting must have been thinking, oh my God. Thinking to myself, it's so good. They're all in the gym working out, or they're lifting weights. They're really channeling their energy, all that, that teenage hormonal energy that could go really misplaced. They're in the gym and they're channeling it and getting fit. And I thought it's actually really positive. Like, we grew up around this, it was just so dysfunctional, where it was about women starving themselves. And a lot of the fashion magazines really promoted this. It was so damaging to I mean, probably to boys as well, but to girls especially, that there was this image that was portrayed about looking so skinny that you were just skin and bones, and how much that's changed now. And now it's, it's people are doing all sorts to their bodies and having bum implants and everything. But anyway, let's not go down that road. Let's just keep focusing back on the cards. So interesting though, isn't it, how we've evolved, how we've changed. So more messages around, so knowledge and healing around this. What else have we got around these cards here, Spirit? Are there any more messages that you want to share with us? Yeah, so it is about healing within partnerships, existing partnerships. So it could be that you and your partner have gone through a very, very rough time, and that, it's about reconstituting what your wishes now are moving forward, and that you're going back to the drawing board and things are changing. There's a plan there's a breakthrough coming, and it means that you've got to go back and redo your plans. We are in a Mercury Retrograde as well. So is there anything else around this? Is it love, partnerships? Is it anything else? What do you want to share with us? Omens and messages. So information is coming to light here. It's going to be different for everybody. Yeah, the cow, nourishment, again, that's the spirit animal really that represents Taurus. A nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. It's giving yourself, and I think that's another message around this full moon, is the energies are going to be quite intense, profound for some people. So just give yourself what you need around this time. I mean, I've been on a real health kick. I've lost quite a bit of weight because lockdown wasn't great for me, as in, well, I realise now, I mean, I'm very adaptive, but I just got on with it. But I think I just sacrificed a lot of the things that I was used to doing, like the gym, and I just got on with it. I didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking about it at the time. And then my weight crept up, and I've got back into it now, and I'm feeling so much better. And it's like the last day or so, I would say a lot of that's gone out the window. It's just, it's like I can't really be fixed on this weekend. I just need to give my body what it needs. So we've got the wealth card here, and we've also got the Queen. Wow. So this is the divine feminine within all of us coming into a more prominent position. It's about honouring her and what she offers us. So I'm just going to bring up these cards for you to see. So we've got the Queen and we've got wealth, and there is a nod to nature with that wealth card. For some people, this will be about fertility. Feminine force, sexuality again, and friendships. You know, are my relationships balanced? I'm probably making new choices. Maybe, you know, some of my friendships have been resilient and they've carried on, but some of them have just fallen away because we're just not a match anymore, and we've learned that and we're moving on. And there's a wealth of knowledge and learning that I've done in that relationship, but now I need to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we don't have to overcomplicate it. You know, the wounded feminine, well, you did this to me and I did this to you, and actually, you know what, it's just over. And we've all done it, guys. By the way, there's no judgment on this shadow aspect. I mean, I'm Scorpio rising, so there's nothing no one can tell me, and I'm not shocked. Because, you know, you have to be able to be receptive to what people want to share with you when it comes to spiritual direction and readings. There's no I don't want to listen to that, I don't want to hear that, because deep healing requires that ability to be able to hold space and also look at the shadow. Anything else around these cards? Disruption and healthy boundaries. Yes, I feel like when it's coming to the relationship aspect for some people, there's just relationships where people just don't respect your boundaries, and it's now time to let that go. And you've just found that possibly around this Scorpio full moon that you just don't feel like a match with people anymore. You can just sense their gossipy kind of lower level energy, and you just don't want it in your life. It's not adding wealth, it's not blessing your life, and we're not in relationship with people just because of stuff we can get. It's taking away, it's not adding. And at the end of the day, how many people before they go into a relationship say, well, this is what I can offer? Because ultimately, I think when you're ready to know what you can offer, there's a level of esteem that comes with that, in that you're willing to receive that too, but you have to also be willing to give it. Yeah, and it might be that over this period you are actually experiencing people trying to constantly push your buttons and your boundaries. And Scorpio can be like still waters run deep, but then after a period of time, Scorpio will just go, I'm just done here now, I'm just done. And the thing about Scorpio energy is when it's done forever. It's just like, you know, if the trust is gone, and it's fine, let's just move on and get on with it. Anything else around these cards, please, Spirit? Any other messages just in general? Yeah, feelings and emotions. It's going to be a very emotional release around this full moon. an unburdening. When I get this card, sometimes I go, oh, burden, but the joy cards come out at the bottom of the pack. There's going to be an unburdening of emotions around this time. Just let the feelings come up. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to allow what needs to come up, but also don't get stuck in it either. I think this is why this message is coming to say, look, like, be aware these feelings are going to come up because it's coming up to help you, but you've also got to help yourself by moving them, because what's coming for some people they can't yet see. I also want to say, maybe with the fertility card here, for some people they might be like, well, we're going to look at alternative options now. The time has come that, you know, our current route it's so stressful. It's not, the stress is overriding any possible outcome that we're trying to manifest. So we're just going to try something else that feels much more receptive, much more divinely guided, because that's the kind of decision that the Queen would make is, well, what benefits us both? What's kind and generous and loving and nurturing to us both at this time? Anything else around this? Okay. We've just got the luck card has fallen out here. Again, we've got the wish fulfillment card there. So I think it's just what Spirit are just giving us a little bit of coaching here. Spiritual direction and coaching to just say, look, you know, don't be afraid to allow the shadow to come up. And now it's, yeah, that's it, that's done. Yeah, just allow the shadow aspects to be seen, to be felt, to be heard, to be released. Because if we don't bring them into our mind's eye, they can't come up for healing. It's the only way we're going to heal what we need to heal, guys, is by seeing it first, so that it's not the program running on standby in the back of our lives that actually is a form of self-sabotage. So I do think for some people there's going to be a really great unearthing, because I feel like this is unearthing energy of some of these patterns that are just, you know, maybe are holding us back from that great partnership coming in that we know is on its way, because it's always on its way. And it might not be physically in your life yet, but energetically it is. And your actual future partner is already in your energy field, and a big part of the soul connection is that their energy is calling for you to release whatever it is, because what it's going to do is it's going to close out your cycle and it's going to physically bring them into your life. I've actually seen that happen before with people. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Be kind to yourselves first, because when you are, then you're more likely to be kinder to others. And just, you know, have a really beautiful time going within. Scorpio likes to look underneath rocks, but if anybody is going to uncover the truth, it's going to be Scorpio. And yeah, sometimes it can be full on, but you know what? It's ultimately going to bring you everything that you've asked for. Just remember that the universe is benevolent. Okay. All my love. I'll be back soon with another reading. Don't know when, don't know where, but when I get guided. All my love. Take good care of yourselves. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.